Well, hi everybody. It's your pal Richie here. Hey, listen, when I bought my Boss Katana, um, I was told that there was a thing called a Tone Studio that I could download onto my computer and I could be able to use it, and I could use what they call patches, which are files that have presets on them for the different tones that you would need. So if you have a song that you're doing from AC/DC, you would put on the patch that would set your amplifier up to sound like AC/DC. And then if you had one that you wanted to do for a Def Leppard song, then you would just hit a button. It would change all the parameters on your amplifier to set it for Def Leppard, which I think is pretty cool. And it would, so you're not messing around with it, and you can really get into what you're doing rather than messing around with changing the tone and changing for trying to figure all that kind of stuff out. So I thought that was really neat. The problem was, at least for me, is that I didn't have a computer that I could hook it up to that would run it. I had a Chromebook, and it doesn't work with Chromebooks. And I also had an iPad and an iPhone, and it would not run with any of those. So I'm thinking to myself, oh God, now I'm going to have to go out and I'm going to have to buy a $800 to $1,000 computer just to run my amplifier. Well, I decided that no, I didn't have that kind of money to do that, so I wasn't going to do it. And I found on Facebook a group of Katana owners. And in that group of Katana owners, they were talking about using this Katana Librarian. It's an app that runs the amplifier just like the Tone Studio would, only it's from a third party. So you download the app, and it's $12 to get it all set up correctly, because you can download it and then you can get like some demos on it, but you can't use all of the functions till you pay like $12. And I thought $12 is a little bit better than $700, $800. And then I'll run it from your iPad, your iPhone, or your Android phone. The one caveat to that is, though, that the iPad and cannot really talk to the amplifier, even if you got the right cord. They just wouldn't talk. So I had to figure out another way, and from doing some more research, I found that CME, the company CME, makes a WIDI, a WIDI. And what this does, it is a little contraption that you hook up to the back of the Katana through the USB-B port, and it makes it so that you can talk to it via Bluetooth. So it is a transmitter receiver for Bluetooth. It's like, wow. So you have to do a couple little things with it to make it work right. But once it's there, it really does work. And my iPad talks to the Katana without a problem, and by Bluetooth, so I don't have an extra cord running from my Katana to the iPad. It's all done by Bluetooth, so I could have on one part of the stage I could have my amplifier, and over here I could have where I have my iPad, and the iPad could be hooked up to a microphone stand or whatever, and you didn't have to have them connected with a cord to be able to tell them what you want the Katana to change to. So what I have here is first is photograph, DL photograph, which is I'm guessing it's supposed to be for Def Leppard, and it's the patch for Def Leppard. I have it under my library, and I've highlighted it here. I don't know if you can really see it. So let's see how that sounds a little bit. that really sounds like it. I mean, I think it does. But let's say that you then want to switch it to something different. So I'm going to go to Demo 3. Scroll down. Pick Demo 3. And you can already hear where it sounds a little different over there. So let's try that same thing with Demo 3. Wow, that's way different than the first one, wasn't it? Man, that from it was really getting to me. Now, why was it doing that? Well, let's find out, because what I can do now is go from the library over what they call the editor. So in the editor, what it shows you is all of the different pedals that would be used to make that tone, that sound that was going on. And it was a phaser. 90E was what it was. That was on there, along with a plate reverb, clean boost. The amplifier was a brown sound, and a tape echo. And what's really cool is that once you pick whichever one there is on here, you can mess with the settings on each of those different pedals that are there. So you can make it to what you like, the sound that you like. So I'm going to go back into the library, and I'm going to go back to photograph. Now to editor. And what this is, clean amplifier with an overdrive and spring reverb. Now, each of these that's on there, I can then mess with their settings to make it, to dial it in to what I want it to sound like. So it sounds more like the Def Leppard sound, according to me. Why is this cool, and why is this good, and why didn't it sound exactly like it? Because it said that it's for like Photograph for Def Leppard. My guitar is different than the person who made the patch, so it's not going to sound like their guitar. They probably had different pickups and different strings, and they play differently than I do, so it's not going to sound exactly like it. And they probably didn't actually sound exactly like what Def Leppard does, because they probably didn't have the same guitar as what the guitarists from Def Leppard had, didn't have the same pickups and so forth. So this makes it so you can mess with it a little bit, so you can dial it in a little bit better and make it sound more either like Def Leppard or how you would want it to sound on it, which I think is fantastic. That way you have a little bit more play in what's going on. This also helps you out, especially if you're a beginner, where using the pedals from the amplifier itself that are on the top, not through this, but what's available that way, you only have like one setting that you can change on it. This lets you change it as if it was the pedal itself. You can also change the order in which the pedals are. You can change actually your amplifier that's on there. So if you want to really change up everything, you want to base it off that, but you want to really mess with it and change it, and then you can save it to however you want. And you can make it yourself a library. Inside of that library, you can have, your own little section of it. So if you're like doing a gig and you have your set made up with all your songs, you can just put what each of those settings are going to be, how you want it for those songs right in a row. So, okay, I'm done with that song. I'm done with the Def Leppard song. Okay, now I'm going to do an AC/DC, so I'm going to hit that, give it a couple of seconds to switch over. Boom, now I can start in with my AC/DC. You know what? This next one that we're going to do is going to be more of a Metallica. So guess what? I'm going to hit the next one on the list, which is Metallica. Now let's say that the next one that you're going to do is you're going to switch your guitars over and you're going to go to a Telly. Well, now you can sound more like Stevie Ray Vaughan, SRV. All right in a row. So you can hit each one of those right in a row and you don't have to go over and mess with the amplifier. And it's preset, so you're not also hitting any pedals down on the floor trying to switch them around. Is this foolproof? No, because if you are doing like a rhythm section and then you need to do a solo section and you want the solo sound to be a little bit different, you're not going to be able to walk over to your iPad while in the middle of playing and go, okay, I'm scrolling down, or I'm going to this and I got to hit this and I got to hit that. It's just not going to work. Now, it can work also with the foot pedals that come with it, because the preset foot pedals. There's another button over here. Listen to me, button. There's another one over here for the virtual GAFC. And that would be like the foot pedal that you would have for the different channels that you could switch things on and off with for the Katana. They have 2 different channels, an A and a B, so you have 4 presets that you can do to it. So if you do have one where it's like, you're going to need this solo, you can, okay, that's my rhythm, now I can hit this over here and it's going to switch over to my solo sound. Now I can switch back to my rhythm again. You can't do that necessarily from the library. So it does have a downfall, but for most people, if they're doing a gig, like for me, because I'm not good, I would probably do nothing but rhythm anyways. So that'd be great. That'd be perfect for me. Okay, that's the rhythm section I gotta do. That's that one. I don't have to worry about soloing. I think that would be an easy way to do it. And again, you could have your amplifier in one spot. You could have your iPad, iPhone, Android phone over in another spot, and you don't have to run over it, mess with the buttons in the back. So I hope this kind of helped you out a little bit. Like I said, I got frustrated because I couldn't find anything about this on the web, on YouTube. Because I always put in for Tone Studio, I didn't realize there was Katana Library. So hopefully this helps you out. I know it's helped me out quite a bit with this. So I hope that the rest of you have a great rest of the day, because I'm going to go and get some sleep now. All right, it's 4 in the morning.